Have you ever heard of the legendary city of Atlantis, said to have been swallowed by the sea in a single night? What if I told you that right in the heart of the North Sea, scientists have just discovered the ruins of a massive ancient civilization, possibly larger than any ancient city we've ever known, and quite possibly the real Atlantis? Divers from oil companies located within the North Sea have been discovering the remains of a drowned ancient city which once spanned from the UK all the way to Denmark. An ancient city so massive its suspected population has been estimated well into the tens of thousands. A team of climatologists, archaeologists, and geophysicists have now successfully mapped the area, which has revealed just how vast and expansive this once-lost land once was. Many specialists are now claiming this was once the real heartland of Europe. This enormous civilization is now believed to have dated back to some 8,000 years ago, and that the land mass was submerged over a period of several thousand years, a submersion which began some 20,000 years prior. Dr. Richard Bates of the Department of Earth Sciences at St. Andrews, who organized the Drowned Landscapes exhibit covering the finds within the UK, says the data reveals the human story behind Doggerland, a now submerged city of the North Sea that was once larger than many modern European countries. Could these discoveries reveal Doggerland as the real lost city of Atlantis? Several hypotheses have placed the sunken island of Atlantis within modern northern Europe. Most noted among such researchers is Olaus Rudbeck, who suspected that Doggerland, as well as a Viking Bergen Island, which is thought to have been flooded by a mega tsunami following the Stoga slide in 6100 BC, is the real location of Atlantis. A proposition he put forward all the way back in the 1600s. Some have proposed the Celtic Shelf as a possible location, and that there is certainly links to Ireland. Many places have been put forward for the possible location of the sunken city throughout the years. Yet, none have revealed ruins worthy of such claims. Many of these areas being too small to have housed such an enormous city. Doggerland, however, fits the bill. Not only could it turn out to be the largest ancient civilization found on Earth, but it also rests in a possible location based on historical research for the city of Atlantis. It was submerged at one point in its history, and it is revealing astonishing ruins of a once great and presently unknown civilization. Dr. Bates, a geophysicist, said Doggerland was the real heartland of Europe until sea levels rose to give us the UK coastline of today. We've speculated for years on the lost land's existence from bones dredged by fishermen all over the North Sea. But it's only since working with oil companies in the last few years that we've been able to recreate what this lost land looked like. When the data was first being processed, I thought it unlikely to give us any useful information. However, as more area was covered, it revealed a vast and complex landscape. We have now been able to model its flora and fauna, build up a picture of the ancient people that lived there, and begin to understand some of the dramatic events that subsequently changed the land, including the sea rising in a devastating tsunami. The research project is a collaboration between St. Andrews and the universities of Aberdeen, Birmingham, Dundee, and Wales Trinity, St. David. I will keep you posted on their future discoveries. Thanks for watching, guys, and until next time, take care. The discovery of Doggerland is more than just an archaeological curiosity. It is a revelation that forces us to rethink the deep history of human civilization and our fragile relationship with nature. As layers of sediment are peeled back and sonar scans paint digital images of a world lost beneath the sea, what emerges is not just evidence of a once thriving society, but a profound story of resilience, adaptation, and eventual disappearance. This was a land where people once lived, farmed, raised families, worshipped, and watched the skies, not unlike us. It's easy to think of our modern societies as the pinnacle of civilization, but the ruins of Doggerland remind us that others came before, and that entire worlds can vanish, not in myth, but in silence beneath the rising tide. What makes Doggerland especially haunting is not just its scale, though its size alone is staggering, but the fact that its disappearance was not sudden, but gradual. Generation by generation, the people who lived there would have seen their world slowly shrink. Rivers grew wider, marshlands expanded, and what was once fertile farmland became soggy and treacherous. Perhaps they packed up and moved inland. Or perhaps they clung to their ancestral homes until the bitter end. We may never know the full truth, but through bones, tools, and fragments of stone walls, we begin to sense the lives once lived there. In a world increasingly shaped by climate change and rising sea levels, Doggerland is more than an ancient curiosity. It is a warning. The sea that took Doggerland is the same sea that now threatens our coastal cities. The slow, unstoppable process that submerged this ancient landmass is happening again on new shores. Venice, Jakarta, New York, parts of Bangladesh, all face uncertain futures. Will future civilizations look back at us and wonder why we didn't act? There is also something deeply poetic about Doggerland's return. For centuries, fishermen found bones and antlers in their nets without knowing their origin. For decades, scientists theorized about a sunken landscape. And now, at last, with the help of modern technology and unexpected collaboration with oil companies, the land has begun to speak. The use of seismic mapping, core samples, and underwater scans has brought a lost world into focus. We've gone from legends and guesses to measurable evidence, proof of settlements, of topography, of flora and fauna, of shifting coastlines. And the work has only just begun. As the data deepens, and as underwater archaeology becomes ever more advanced, we may one day walk through 3D recreations of Doggerland's villages, hear simulations of what the wind may have sounded like across its grassy plains, or even uncover written symbols or primitive forms of communication that tell us more about their culture. The implications of Doggerland reach far beyond Europe. It urges us to reconsider other so-called myths, from submerged cities off the coasts of India and Japan, to tales in ancient texts of floods and vanished lands. Not all stories are fiction, some are memory, blurred by time. If Doggerland teaches us anything, it's that the line between legend and reality is thinner than we think. Moreover, it forces us to ask deeper questions. How many other civilizations have risen and fallen, leaving no trace? How many voices have been lost to time, drowned under waves, buried under silt? And how many more are waiting to be found? In this context, the old tale of Atlantis no longer seems so implausible. Whether or not Doggerland is the Atlantis of Plato's stories, it is Atlantis in spirit, a great civilization lost to the sea, remembered only through fragments and the curiosity of those who dare to look deeper. Dr. Richard Bates and his colleagues have only scratched the surface. Their work represents the beginning of a journey into one of humanity's oldest forgotten chapters. And with each new discovery, we are not just reconstructing geography, we are rediscovering ourselves. Because to understand Doggerland is to understand how humans have always lived with, fought against, and been humbled by the forces of nature. As we close this chapter, it's worth imagining that final moment. A village near the coastline, the tide higher than ever, a community preparing to leave or praying to withstand what's coming. The memory of that final sunset, the last fire in the hearth, the last footprint in the mud, all washed away. Until now. Now, at last, we are listening.